Coming up on the October 29th edition of Carolina Week. It's been 1 week since the release of Kenneth Wainstein's report, and now those findings are the talk of the country.
And it's that time of year when ghosts and goblins flood Chapel Hill. So what are police doing to ensure safety this Halloween?
And what's scarier than Halloween? The North Carolina Senate race. All that and more.
Carolina Week starts right now.
From the UNC School of Journalism and Mass Communication, covering Carolina in HD, this is Carolina Week.
It's been exactly 1 week since the much-anticipated Wainstein report came out, and the aftershock is still lingering. Good evening, I'm Anissa Jabbar.
And I'm Kristen Ruffin. Last week, we brought you live coverage and analysis of Kenneth Wainstein's report about the academic and athletics scandal here at UNC. And tonight, we have the follow-up. First, we go live to Susanna Black, who's at the ACC Media Day in Charlotte. Susanna.
Kristen, there were 4 Hall of Fame coaches at ACC Media Day today, but one of them, Roy Williams, is under heavy scrutiny following huge accusations against UNC and his basketball program.
I know I've never one day in my life failed to do something knowingly that would hurt our student athletes. I've never one day in my life did something that I shouldn't have done. If you want to accuse me of being naive, go ahead. You can be as skeptical as you want, but the people that know Roy Williams knows that some of those things are being said are not fair.
Wow. We'll come back
Stay with us, and we'll keep you updated on all things ACC Media Day. Kristen?
Thank you, Susanna. We'll come back to Susanna later in the show to follow up on Coach Roy Williams' reactions.
So what will happen to the people who participated in the scandal? Jordan Nash is live in our satellite studio and has more about one particular employee named in the report.
One of the UNC employees who knew about the irregular classes is Jan Boxell, a former women's basketball academic counselor. However, it seems Boxell may be on her way out. Stunned, shocked, surprised. That's how students and faculty say they feel after Kenneth Wainstein revealed in his report that current employees at UNC participated in the fraud. One of those employees is Jan Boxell, who is the former chair of the faculty and director of the Parr Center for Ethics. Chancellor Carol Folt said the people involved will face disciplinary action.
Effective today, however, we have terminated or commenced disciplinary actions against 9 university employees, and we are removing honorary status in at least 1 case.
On the day after the report was released, Boxell's name no longer appeared on the Parr Center's website. As you can see here, her name has already been removed as director of the Parr Center for Ethics on the staff and faculty board in Caldwell Hall. While some news organizations have reported that Boxell is one of the 9 employees terminated or disciplined, there's no official word yet from the university about her status. Boxell is still listed as a master lecturer in the philosophy department here at UNC. She taught sports ethics for many years, but is not teaching that class this semester. I stopped by Boxell's office earlier this week and asked if she would be around anytime soon. The administrative assistant said she would not. Anissa?
That was Jordan Nash reporting live from our satellite studio.
Since the release of the report last week, media outlets across the country have told the story of UNC's academic scandal. Reporter Alexis Simmons joins us live in the studio to discuss just how widespread the coverage has been.
It was the report that was heard around the media world. 131 pages covering nearly 2 decades of academic irregularities at UNC led to a ton of national headlines. I'm going to give you a look into what media outlets have to say about the Wainstein report. CNN's Sarah Ganim has been following this story for months, and she says it appears to be the biggest fraud scandal in all of college sport history. Some outlets like Forbes magazine urge a few urge a third-party review that will dig deeper than the Wainstein report, saying this report sugar-coated the findings. The Washington Post brought up concerns about the university's accreditation being at risk because the African American Studies Department escaped reviews required every 5 years, only because it lacked a graduate program. Saturday Night Live even took their opportunity to use humor to talk about these paper classes, saying students at UNC would say the findings are ungood and distrue. Fox News used the headline, "A is for academic fraud," and other national coverage included the New York Times, the Huffington Post, and ESPN, which talked about the uncertainty of the consequences UNC could face. Though it's unclear what steps the NCAA will take now that the report is out, penalties could range from fewer scholarships to vacated wins.
Lots of current and former Carolina students are worried that banners are going to come down.
One reason the story has made national headlines is because of the effect it could have on one or more of UNC's NCAA championships. I spoke with current athletes and a national analyst about their reactions.
Clarity, precision, and accuracy. Fundamentals taught on the field and court. Add transparency and you have UNC's academic investigation.
Get us out there and let them know that we're not trying to hide anything.
Junior Quinshaw Davis, UNC football's wide receiver, says the report is transparent, but athletes could have helped prevent the scandal.
Those athletes should have knew better too, so it go hand in hand.
Wainstein's report revealed between 1999 and 2011, football players took 963 bogus classes. Men's basketball players took 226, and women's basketball players took 114. Athletes from other sports enrolled in 568, likely placing UNC at the harshest level of the NCAA's penalty structure. ESPN college sports analyst Jay Billis says it will boil down to athletes' standard of eligibility.
They can vacate seasons, they can vacate championships, they can vacate wins based upon the use of an ineligible player.
If implemented, those punishments will be a hard reality for current student athletes like junior Damian Washington, UNC football's safety and wide receiver, who have done nothing wrong.
Like the chancellor came and talked to us and was saying that it didn't really have anything to do with us. This was before we even got here.
The chancellor told the players they shouldn't let this affect their performance.
UNC officials say they hope that the reforms that follow the report will serve as a national model for other universities. But it's not just student athletes who are upset about the scandal. Student body president Andrew Powell held an open forum on campus yesterday for students to voice their concerns. Powell asked students to drop by a coffee shop on campus Tuesday to share ideas, thoughts, and criticisms. Students were able to have a one-on-one conversation with Powell. Powell says he also received hundreds of emails from students. Tomorrow night, students can attend a forum where Powell and a panel of students will discuss the questions and issues. The event is in Carroll Hall, room 111 at 6 o'clock. Powell says he hopes the forums will help the student body express frustration and then move forward.
There's a lot of students who, when they see this report come out, they have thoughts and questions and confusions, and some students, first heard the name Wainstein last Wednesday. So I think students are going through a whole nother process of figuring out how we as a university can move forward.
Powell says this is especially hard for student athletes who played no role in the scandal. He says many of them weren't born when the problem started and weren't students yet when it ended.
So what do current students have to say about the report?
Every other D1 school in the nation does stuff like that. It's just we're the ones that were had the spotlight shown on them.
A lot of people feel that this is something that hasn't just occurred at UNC, but UNC is just one of the few schools that has gotten caught.
I feel bad that UNC is being singled out because I'm pretty sure that these problems happen on other campuses as well. But overall, I think that as a whole, UNC has a lot of academic integrity, and people are going to know that we're still a reputable university.
And one particularly vocal group of students are those taking classes in the African, African American, and Diaspora Department, or AAAD for short. They took to the steps outside South Building earlier today. AAAD students took to the podium in front of South Building to defend their degrees. Their chief concern that the Wainstein report will have a negative impact on how the public views their major. Students expressed frustration about the department's portrayal in the media, feeling that it's too negative and should be focused on the athletics department, not the AAAD department. Majors said department professors are among the most caring in all of the departments across campus.
There's plenty of bad news about Carolina academics from the Wainstein report, but there is one bit of good news. U.S. News and World Report ranks UNC 32nd out of the world's top 500 research universities. Harvard University tops the list. Duke ranked 20th. Carolina placed 11th among U.S. public universities. Halloween is just 2 days away, and it's a holiday UNC students look forward to all year.
Chapel Hill police have new plans to keep Franklin Street safe this year. Next on Carolina Week.
Be sure to check out Carolina Week online at carolinaweek.org. Connect with us online by liking the Carolina Week Facebook page and following us on Twitter at Carolina Week UNC.
The great outside. My new mom and I have a lot in common. So shiny. We both love the outdoors. That's not a flower. And she knows a lot about wildlife. A labradoodle.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
To get in the way before it happens.
To get a friend home safe.
And to not blame the victim.
It's on us.
To look out for each other.
To not look the other way. It's on us to stand up.
To step in.
To take responsibility.
It's on us, all of us,
to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
North Carolina has a history of razor-thin elections, and this year's race for United States Senate is no different. Pollsters have it a dead heat, and the vote could have national implications. Amy Elmers reports.
North Carolina is a battleground state. We've seen hot races, unprecedented campaign spending, and a torrent of television ads. So why is the election of our next senator so important?
I mean, this is one of the ground zeros, as it were, of American politics. It's not a state that's off the radar, it's a state that's on the radar.
In the 2008 presidential election, North Carolina broke its 24-year streak of voting Republican and helped elect Barack Obama. In 2012, the state went for Mitt Romney. Now, Democratic Senator Kay Hagan has a slight lead over Republican candidate Thom Tillis, but it's anybody's race.
This is one of the states that could determine which party controls the United States Senate.
North Carolina is one of 9 states in the toss-up category. Most polls show there is a 60% chance Republicans will take control of the Senate.
If Republicans control both the House and the Senate, there's little likelihood of any movement forward on the Obama agenda.
Guillory says no matter what happens, it will set the stage for the 2016 presidential election. In Chapel Hill, I'm Amy Elmers reporting.
Early voting began October 23rd and runs through November 1st. The regular election is November 4th.
And because the race for Senate is so crucial, Orange County residents have been heading to the polls for early voting. Greeters welcome residents with information about candidates as early voting is underway in Orange County. Orange County offers 4 separate early voting sites, most of which are accessible to UNC students. The closest site is the NC Hillel. It's a few blocks away from Granville Towers. Other sites like the Carborough Town Hall and the Seymour Senior Center are accessible if you take the CW bus. About 11,600 people have voted since early voting began, which is already about 35% of 2010 voter turnout. The polls are open from noon to 7 p.m. today and tomorrow, but close at 6 p.m. on Friday. Saturday is the last day you can vote early. Election Day is Tuesday, November 4th. If you vote on that day, you must vote in the precinct you're registered in.
The university is considering upgrades to the Student Rec Center. Students are requesting facilities like a lazy river, hot tubs, and a hot yoga studio. And university officials, they're listening. The university has partnered with 360 Architecture to create a new campus rec that meets the fitness needs of today's students. Both campus officials and architects took suggestions from students at the Student Recreation Center Monday night. Officials say right now nothing is out of the question. The architectural firm will present a blueprint for the renovations in early 2015. Campus rec officials expect the renovations to be complete in about 2 years.
Chapel Hill has been home to many famous athletes, journalists, and politicians. It's also the final resting place for other important people. Voices of the Grave, a haunted ghost tour, allows us to learn about those people. Hosted by Preservation Chapel Hill, the 5th annual event was Saturday in the Old Chapel Hill Cemetery located on campus. Visitors got the chance to walk around the cemetery to learn about the lives of those who once were. The tour included actors who reenacted notable Chapel Hill residents, including Mally Jones, Adeline McCall, and Dudley Dewitt Carroll, and gave brief overviews of the lives they lived.
The town of Chapel Hill is gearing up for one of the biggest holidays of the year, Halloween. Nothing new about that. What is a bit unusual is the holiday falls on a Friday this year, and that has the police a little nervous. Grace Rayner reports.
Pumpkins line the windows, and masks hang from the racks. There are skeletons, costumes, and candy, lots of it. Halloween is here, and Chapel Hill loves this celebration. But for those in the Chapel Hill Police Department, it's not all fun and games.
For us, this is an event we plan, but we have to plan for it, and so we have to set up some rules to try and keep people safe.
Soon this will look like this. And though Missy Moore says the crowds have gone down from 55,000 to 35,000 during the course of a few years, he isn't ignoring the fact that Halloween is on a Friday. Missy Moore says the town will employ 307 officers. A press release sent out October 21st says weapons, accessories looking like weapons, and alcohol will all be prohibited on Franklin Street. Sophomore Brendan Marks hopes students will cut down on their alcohol consumption from last year.
So one of my friends was called to the hospital, so I ran from the party that I was at to see her, and then when I got there, another friend of mine was admitted already and was in the process of having her stomach pumped when I got there.
And though Missy Moore and his team have made it a mission to cut down on crowds and drinking this year, Marks is still skeptical.
It doesn't really matter what the town of Chapel Hill does or says about the day of the week or anything. People are going to drink, people are going to do what they're going to do, and there's no way they can stop that.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Grace Rayner reporting.
Just hope everyone's careful. As the leaves continue to fall, will the temperatures start to fall with them?
Drew Day has the forecast next.
Good. Homemade noodles. Oh. Marty, stop it. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. It reminds me, I've been thinking maybe we should try a new form of birth control. I heard about this one, it's called the IUD, intrauterine device. Or we could try the patch on your arm. Actually, I think that one goes on your butt.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
What do you think then? Arm or the butt?
Today, 1 out of every 4 American kids is Hispanic. That means many of the future doctors who will care for us, the engineers who will build our cities, the scientists and entrepreneurs of our country can be your kids. We all know how hard it is for you to send them to college. This is why we want you to know you are not alone. And every day more people support you to make it happen. Many support you. And the Hispanic Scholarship Fund helps you prepare, plan, and pay for your kids' college education. HSF.net.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm Drew Day. Thanks for staying with us. We have plenty of sunshine over the area today, despite the high thin clouds that we had out there earlier this afternoon. Still plenty of sunshine, but we are seeing these white clouds here. They're a little bit brighter off to our west than they are here over central North Carolina. That is the cold front that is lining up in our mountains right now. And this cold front over the past few hours has remained stationary. It hasn't moved all that much, but we do expect that it will clear the area by midnight this evening. So we do have a small chance of showers later on this evening. We've also had just a little area of low pressure develop along in the mountains along that front, and that will help to produce some showers as well. But if in terms of lugging a umbrella or a rain jacket out there this evening, I just don't think you'll have to worry about it for this evening. Now, by 2 a.m. tomorrow morning, we will see that frontal system offshore with the best chance of rain in the coastal plain. Around here in Chapel Hill and central North Carolina, we will remain dry. Our chances of rain will end probably after 10 p.m. this evening. But again, it's just a small chance of rain, so I would be remiss if I didn't mention it just in case one or two sprinkles happens out there this evening, but it's certainly not going to be a big deal. By tomorrow afternoon, that front is well offshore. As this area of high pressure begins to push eastward and build into North Carolina, that will lead to sunny skies throughout the day on Thursday, and will be dry on Thursday as well as Thursday evening as this high pressure system moves to the north. The next system that we'll be watching is this cold front that will be lining up right about in here by the time we get to Friday morning, and that will bring us cold temperatures for the weekend, perhaps a frost and a killing freeze happening later on this weekend on Saturday. So if you are a farmer out there and you still have crops in the field, it's really going to be a race against time for you to get them in on time before this killing freeze happens later on this weekend. So be prepared for that. Now, of course, Halloween is on Friday, and for your forecast for that, if you're headed out to Franklin Street, by 9 o'clock when Franklin Street closes, temperatures will be in the upper 40s. At midnight, when it reopens again, temperatures will be in the lower 40s with cloudy skies throughout the evening. And then if you're headed out to the food truck rodeo on Stadium Drive, that goes from 10 p.m. until 2 a.m. in front of Kenan Stadium. If you're going to be staying until the end of that event, temperatures will be in the 40s at that time. So it will be a little chilly out there this year for Halloween. But for this evening, temperatures will be in the 50s across the area with cloudy skies. Again, just a small chance of a shower. Tomorrow afternoon, looking for 64 degrees here in Chapel Hill, cooler than this upper 70s we had today. Tomorrow morning, temperatures will be in the lower 50s, 61 at lunchtime, and then 51 by 8 p.m. in the evening. And then as we take a look at the 5-day forecast, temperatures will remain in the 60s right on through Friday. By the time we get to Saturday and that frontal system passes, temperatures will fall into the 50s with a small chance of rain, but then it looks like we'll warm up as we head back into next week with temperatures returning to the 60s.
So jackets on Halloween. Thank you, Drew.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Drew.
Football is set to face off against Miami after that heartbreaking loss last year.
Will Carolina hop over the Hurricanes in the coastal standings? Luis Fernandez is next with sports.
Up. College is hard. Down. Those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education.
Right up here.
So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour
Lights there, darts there.
to show them that higher education means a brighter future.
My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it. You can be a reader, tutor, or mentor too. Take the pledge at liveunited.org/volunteer.
Do you wear this?
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm Luis Fernandez with sports. Carolina football will look to grab its third win in a row against Miami. They're 5-3. The Hurricanes on Saturday. UNC lost to Miami last year in the Zero Dark Thursday game. Wide receiver Ryan Switzer says it's not just the heartbreaking loss that's motivating Carolina.
From our team standpoint, we blew it. We had it, and we didn't make enough plays on the stretch to win. So it would be nice, especially because every coastal game from here on out is really important, and they're having a good season, and I think ahead of us in the coastal right now. So all those factors, would make it even sweeter beating them, at their place.
it's still going to be tricky for Carolina to pull out the win. Miami is undefeated at home. The U is giving up about 22 points per game, but it's not the Miami defense UNC needs to worry about. Miami running back Duke Johnson is having a great season and just came off of a monster game. Johnson had 249 yards on the ground against Virginia Tech last week. Check out this stiff arm. Oh my goodness. I don't know if UNC can stop that, but one thing the Heels can do is pick up turnovers. The Hurricanes are averaging 2 turnovers a game, and the Carolina defense, well, they're tied for 12th in the country in takeaways with 18 this season. Joining us now live from ACC Media Day in Charlotte, North Carolina is Susanna Black. Susanna, are the players and coaches hearing more questions about the Wainstein report or the upcoming season?
Lewis, the players definitely saw their fair share of questions about the Wainstein report, but they maintained that their focus is on their tough schedule coming up. Now, junior power forward Bryce Johnson said that his only focus is on his consistency on the court.
I've had good times and I've been doing some great things, and then all of a sudden one day I just go backwards. So I just need to be consistent with my play and be able to keep doing those great things and not go backwards, and just show him that I can really be that player that he needs.
The Tar Heels won't have to wait long for that stiff competition. They will play Iowa, Ohio State, and they'll travel to Lexington to play preseason ranked #1 Kentucky. Lewis?
Susanna Black, excellent insight. Live in Charlotte, that's Susanna Black. Thanks. So there was a midweek match for the men's soccer team. The Heels were going for their 7th straight win. They took on Georgia Southern in Fetzer Field on Tuesday night. Carolina opened up scoring early off with this goal by Walker Hume. Andy Craven led the team in scoring with a hat trick, including this sweet scissor kick and this beautiful goal from the top of the box. The Heels finished off the Eagles with a 6-2 victory. The Tar Heels are now 12-4 heading into the final regular season game against UVA. So fun fact, guys, bet you didn't know this. Men's soccer is one of 5 teams currently in the top 10 of their respective sports.
Things looking good on the field. Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Thanks, Lewis.
When we come back,
some final thoughts from ACC Media Day and the national media's attention on the Wainstein report.
Hey, Hard, what's this? That's my resignation letter. You're resigning. Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you eat stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit. I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me. Okay. But remember, it's not what you say. It's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
You make me wear my bike helmet. Taught me never to run with scissors.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Always. Lock it up.
Staring contest.
You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today, I'm just an aluminum can, but one day, I could be a stadium.
Before we leave you this evening, let's go back to Charlotte and reporter Susanna Black for some final thoughts about the dominating theme at ACC Media Day. Susanna.
The main takeaway from today's ACC Media Day on the Carolina side is that Roy Williams is not afraid to protect his integrity as well as the integrity of North Carolina basketball. Now, Williams said earlier today in a radio show that he is way more concerned with his players graduating than staying eligible. And you know, this is the second offseason in a row where Williams has had to deal with off-court issues. Last season, it was an eligibility issue with PJ Hairston. And speaking of PJ Hairston, Williams also told the media today that he has the opportunity to take his son to PJ Hairston's NBA debut with the Hornets here in Uptown Charlotte. Kristen?
I heard that sound with Roy Williams. I mean, you just hear the emotion in his voice when he's talking.
Well, my biggest question is, did athletes need those classes? Is that why it went on for so long? And then after talking to Damian Washington, I realized they really don't. And, you know, disappointment in the administration is huge right now. Kristen.
Right, but I think it's important to realize that some of the students now just weren't athletes when that was going on.
Right.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Good night.